sharing my screen. Okay, nakita ko na. Kita.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So we start with the lesson 7 on networks, in which our objectives describe the benefits and advantages, and this also disadvantages of networks. We also have to list and describe the type of networks nga ginagamit kag function naton sa current natong system, and describe the communications hardware. Also list and describe the communications media, describe the different network topologies, and describe the network architecture and protocols. So for your vocabulary batch, we have the following terms: baseband, broadband, bus topology, client server network, client, communication channel, mga data communications, also the Ethernet or the LAN or the local area network, and also describing modem, peer-to-peer network, ring topology, router, server, star topology, token ring, and the basic term of topology, transmission media, and the wide area network. Now, by definition of the network building blocks, whenever a group of two or more computers are linked together, this is basically referred to as your network. Then the data communications is the transmission of data from one location to another, and the five components naton in data communication, as you remember, do pareho man sa aton kay sa last time to sang network information cycle naton. We have the sending device, the signal conversion device, the communication path, the receiving device, and the communication software. Now, for the advantages of a network, we have information sharing, hardware sharing, also in software and collaborative environment. So, in terms of collaboration, pareho sa data processing and output, kumbaga mas effective and efficient when it is done in collaboration in the network environment, just by instead of having a single computer to perform and execute that certain instruction or data. Now, the only disadvantages of this network is it is vulnerable to malicious code. Mga malware code, like example is virus, mga phishing, mga malware, mga trojan na mga infection sa atong system. Also, with equipment problems, like kung mag-disconnect ang mga cables naton, it will surely affect the speed and the reliability of the network. Also, investment in hardware and software will take much of resources, and much more ka may need for maintenance. So, we imagine, yung isa na kadako ng operation naton, example, bisa mga internet naton, no? It is also connected to the network. So, basically, the internet is your biggest form of a network. So once magka-disconnect or may problem sa mga naton mga cables, abot ng mga balita last time, mga magkuba pa yung cable, mga underwater cable nila magkalaguba or maigo sa mga damaging ang iya mga connection. It will really cost them a lot in terms of the financial, kay di man na easily na ma-repair na yun because sa dalam tubig, and also they would resort to other means, and ang effects na is mahinay, times gina mahinay or may mga disconnection nga issues ang aton nga internet connection. So that is one example. Medyo makaya gid ma-connect to a huge network, but the investment in hardware and the problems for equipments is at times very hard to deal and would require a lot of money. Now, for the two most common types of networks, we have the LAN and the WAN. By terms is, alam mo maglain ng first word naton. Kung LAN ti local, kung wide naman area, we use the WAN. And we have the other types of network specific for its function. We have metropolitan area network or the MANs, the personal area networks or PANs, the home area network, and campus area network. So sa school natin example, kung sa San Agustin, we have our own version of the network sa sulod, which we call it as a campus area. So most local area networks are connected devices for personal computers and devices in a limited geographical area. And each device is called a node. Connected to the network is called a node. And it has the sharing capacity naman. We can share resources for printers, example for programs and other hardware. Usually ang atong setup sa isa ka computer lab is we have output no, printer yun, primigid ang pinaka basic naton nga sharing type of setup. Aside ban kang mga bag-o na mga offices, they have also the devices like fax machines, mga projectors or ano pa da nga mga use nila nga mga digital nga monitors to show reports or mga other data nga needed nila. Now for a wireless LAN nga setup, similar man sa LAN, tiyan na ganang term, it is wireless so no physical wires are involved to use this connection. Now for a setup, you can basically visualize the client server local area network. So mag setup ang typical kay nga setup mo connect sa internet. And kung sa aton, sa balay lang tanti minus lang ni sa mga iban nga mga devices Pero usually mo gini when you have a computer network system or kung magasamang computer lab, so the first basic connection is from the internet and we go to the DSL modem router and then we'll go to the server computer, but behind that it should go through the firewall. Ang firewall ang nag-protect sa aton nga from mga malicious attacks or phishing or malware nga mga ano. So that's why ang mga antivirus nga nabutan natin sa server is more of lean gid to protect the system or the network nga ginahandle sa natong server nga computer. Now, mag-abot din sa server, once ma-filter na itong yung data or connection, it will go now to the switch or the hub wherein amo na dayon ang inyong computers are connected or the nodes, each of the computer isa ka switch no. Usually mo ganing diri kung if you go with the LAN nga local area nga cables ang ginagamit. And also have a local computer wherein each node can do document printing under nga output nga task out of this local printer. And also we have a network printer. Ang network printer naman is more on having multiple devices access to it. So not only nodes of their computers but also laptops, mga cellphones naton can also do tasks to produce data output sa inyong network printer such as printed documents, mga journals and other related nga printouts. Now for the wide area network, we have the term of having to cover a large geographical area. So consider the internet as your biggest network naton kay na ba ko no. But it is under the category of a WAN or a wide area network. So most WANs are usually composed of two or more LANs connected by routers. So once nga LAN, for example, ang isa ka computer lab is in the 5th floor of the building and then the other one is in the 4th floor. So once it is connected by routers ang ginagamit natin mag-connect between these two laboratory ng mga computer systems no. And usually for the kumbaga in terms of speed hapos lang sa setup of connection is we use wireless or your WAN to connect these two computer systems and labs. Even on between sa physical nilang setup is wala sa this la the same floor. So the variations of WANs are intranet and extranet. So at sa term naman nga keyword naton, tandaan nyo gani, intra is within and extra is outside access of outside organization. So when we call it intranet, it is designed to allow the exclusive use of people connections within the organization, whereas an extranet allows specified users outside the organization to access these internal information systems. I think on the next slide there's a visualization for this. Not yet. Wala. So you'd imagine that there's a version of extranet and intranet, or could be there can be a combination of both. Mayroon man na setup depending on how the functionality of a certain organization sa ilang information system nga setup. Now for naman MANs or the metropolitan area network, they have the connection of users that are basically bigger in terms of geographical area. It's bigger than the LAN, but it is smaller than a wide area network or the MAN. For personal area networks, it connects devices about 30 feet. So basically, it's just basically between a house or a compound of houses or within a block of the building. While for home area network, so by terms of home, connected within the sa sulod sang balay or sa isa ka set up sang isa ka home naton nga network. Then we have for campus area network, collection of LANs within a limited geographical space. By in terms of campus, a university campus, a school, pwede mga elementary school or mga high schools or anything related sa education nato nga setup. And if you have those collection of LANs, then we can call it is a campus area network. Now for network architectures, we have the client-server network or the peer-to-peer network. So by definition of these two types, if we would refer to the term of client-server, no, one or more computers act as a server, and then connect naton sang clients that are connected to the other network. They are called as clients, and the network operating system software and applications are stored only on the server. So if you want to access, basically, you would connect the client computers will connect to the server to use their OS and the software applications. For the peer-to-peer network naman, all computers are equal, which means that each computer has its own installed nga OS and the set of application softwares to use for its function. Now for the internet peer-to-peer, we also call it as P2P. The users connect directly to each other over the internet with the use of the internet as the main network naton. Kung may tawag naton nga peer-to-peer or PC to PC or mahambal na naton nga person-to-person type of network architecture for the data transfer and mga functionalities nga kinahanglan nila for each user nga kung ano nila gustong nga obrahon. So P2P and client server. So clients use the server, P2P, computer to computer, or basically peer-to-peer for this type of network applications. Now for your communication devices, this uses the term to facilitate the transmitting and receiving of data. So example naton naman yung dial-up modem naton, analog the telephone lines before amo kong nabtan yun but sumangti medyo digital na tawag naton nga DSL and SDN modems, or kung DSL we call it as digital subscriber line, whereas SDN is integrated services digital network. It allows digital transmission over telephone copper wires naman, and it's faster than comparison to the analog telephone lines. So for cable modem naman, amo ning gamit naton coaxial cable to pareho man subong sa mga bag orator. Kung if you familiar ka mo nga kung may mga offering na bisa no internet no, mahal sila may internet, we also offer channel subscriptions nga mo na. So they also use this type of connection nga cable, wherein it not only have the uses for the internet connection, but also access to one specific channels along sa cable TV ang setup. So it uses coaxial cable to send and receive data throughout your network and through your computer system. So we also have wireless modem. Muna ang PDA, Personal Digital Assistant. It contains a wireless modem to act as a main connection and connect to your computer. But nowadays, most of the smartphones already have this personal hotspot. Naman tawag nato nga hotspot or the wireless hotspot to connect other mobile devices through the internet. Kamo na yung functionality nga nasubong sa mga bago naton nga type of smartphones or mga embedded mobile operating systems naton. You also have the basic interface card. Mostly iban built-in naman. Pero may iba na kung gusto mo medyo upgraded naman having your own may other features pang interface card, then you would buy it in a separate isa lang yun ka card to install to your system. Pero masili ang ano naman kung wala ka man lang sa lagson ang mga stock sa mga interface card nga ara naman sa motherboard naka-install sa motherboard or along with the ports no sa likod sa motherboard are also kumbaga reliable naman kag it will also function in the same functionality man sang typical nga network interface card. Now for the gateway, we also have these linking types, two types of networks with the use of software and hardware that uses different protocols. So basic router, figure out man tsura sang isa ka router, Linksys nga brand. It is an intelligent device that directs network traffic, and we also have the wireless access point for wireless communication of the devices in creating this wireless network. And also a hub, it is a place of convergence where data arrives from one or more direction is forwarded in one or more other directions. Dira sila baligagi or kumbaga tambay sila in a way. Tapos once nga masend naman sa piyak ng mga side or din ng mga direction sila masend, dito naman sila doon makadto of these types of data. Now for communication channel, a definition siya is it is the link that allows data to be transferred from one computer to another. And the term of bandwidth is the transmission capacity. How large or how small ang capacity siya kung ano makargaya ng data or transmission through a communication channel. Tama ng term na ito mabati ano naman high bandwidth media naman cable, DSL, fiber na subong pinakauso. This is surface which we refer to as broadband naton. So, mga standard naton baseband amo nang sa mga DSL na connection. Kung matandaan ko pa sa una mo nagamit ko sa college namon for problema sina kung naka-connect sa line sa dapat ang standard telephone line mo di mo na magamit. Di ka bali pwede ka panawag. Kaya once mo lift up mo ang telepono nyo sa inyong balay, ang basic ng telepono, ang baseband connection siya na ma-disconnect man na yun. And that time we also use loads, may load mo ng card. Sabi card 8 hours of connection, mga sa connection. By terms of time man. Pero kung i-refer mong speed yati wala kaya pulos. Kasi the signal lang guro ng mga nabamos mo mga data connection mas reliable pa as compared sa una sa telephone lines which uses baseband type of transmission. So next, at the end of one communication channel, you have a sending device. Para yung makita to input that is in input in terms of specific input type of device or any other na makasend sang data. Then we have a communications device using such as a modem amo na ma-convert ng signal naton to be transmitted to a standard dial-up telephone or a dedicated line or a cable or a fiber or anything amo na. And then a switch located at telephone where establish a link between the sender and the receiver. And amo na magabot sa receiving end, may isa naman ka modem that will convert the signal back to a format that the receiving device can understand and interpret. So to send the data to the cellular requires some type of transmission media, either physical on or na wireless setup. So mga baka physical media, we have cables, cable wires, sa mga yung suligin ng camera ton. Kung anong sa unod na sa aton telephone system, those are your examples of physical media. Yan lang. So two wires, no? Two wires ang position niya. The one that carries the signal, the other that absorbs the signal interference. Muna kumbaga no guwa nato nga ground. Kay ma-send yun nga data, it will protect it by having another wire to absorb the interference. That is for kung sa telephone systems. Na kung sa cable naman, we use coaxial cable. So this heavily shaded cable is less prone to interference than compared to a typical twisted pair cable of a telephone system. Now for fiber optic naman, fiber thin flexible glass are being used for this type of tubings. Of course, the benefit is a higher bandwidth, speed, and capacity as compared to metal wires and less susceptible to interference. Problema na galing ti na you should be protected gina sa sagwa nilang layer so as they would not be disconnected or maguba or mautod. Now for wireless signal, amo ning sa example na to, we use by the use of satellites, no? Satellites, ma-send sa mga satellite cable, example, mga broadcasting satellites. Mga popular naton nga mga broadcasting network sa US or diri sa aton. So they use satellites type of communications media and it is called as wireless naton. So microwave signals are sent in the form of electromagnetic waves in straight lines between the microwave stations. And the communication satellites are placed in orbit amaning matugag nito may satellite or some other companies also rent mga satellites nga ra no, to receive the signal and to transfer it to another receiving satellite back on Earth. Sa mo niya. Constant position ara nagyapon from one point to another above the its Earth surface. So IRDA, also called as infrared transmission, also uses signals to sending using the infrared light waves. Now for Bluetooth, kung ba't subang may gamit pa sa inyo sa Bluetooth, siguro kung Bluetooth, ano ka share it naman lang. Batang Bluetooth na ano na type ng sharing na sila. Pero before Samon naman sa college days, Bluetooth is one type of connection na ginagamit for sending data man. Data mga old school type of cell phones, personal digital assistants, and netbook type of computers, but only within 30 feet. Amo na ganyan ka pinaka-max niya nga distance for transmission. Then for Wi-Fi, Wi-Fi fidelity na ton, we use Untitled this network based on the 82.11 family of standards of governing wireless transmissions. And then we also have the wireless application protocol or the WAP for specifying how users access information through mobile devices and smartphones, pagers, etc. So with the definition naman sa network topologies, we have several type of topologies or configuration. Configuration, how this network are set up and how it can transfer data from each part, So mga bus topology. So all devices are connected to ensure a master cable called the bus or backbone. And then there's no host computer and data can be transmitted to both direction. So kung paano ka masulod sa isa ka bus, how you would picture out ang configuration sina is amo man ang tsura yan na literally do bus gid siya ang connections setup niya. They have a backbone, no? Kung di ka katapak sa nga sa bus mo ng iyang backbone kaya nga mga pulkuan naman ng iyang single host computer. Now for the ring topology, these are connected in a circle and data travels from device to device around the ring. Wala sila sang direkta sa isa ka device, but they just move from one device to another nga ang lapit sila ang tupad nila within that ring. So amo na call ni siya nga ring topology. Now for the star topology, so imagine mo ang tsura sang isa ka star o baka mo sang star sa lastiko na mo na ang tsura niya. All devices are connected to a central hub or computer wherein amo naga-control sang flow sang data. That all data processed from one computer to another must pass through the hub. So by definition of a protocol, it is an agreed set of rules and procedures for transmitting data between two or more devices. So by networking in LAN, the two most widely used protocol are Internet Protocol and Token Ring. Wherein the protocol is based on the bus topology and also can work in star topology and token ring naman are computers arranged in a circle or token and a specific signal, special signal traverse around the ring. So internet, ang ato protocol is TCP/IP. It is transmission control protocol or your internet protocol. Then all computers including network servers require OS kamo makita naton hambal naton. Then they don't OS for them to function and provide the administration and file management, printing, communications for sa network operating systems. So OS, desktop or NOS, and some OS have built-in networking functions. So mostly sa mga bagong versions ng computer, may muna ni siya built-in network configuration wherein we'll just need to plug and play for that function. So to summarize, these are the terms. Data communication, transmission of data. Network is a group of two or more computers linked together. The internet is the biggest network of all. Networks have advantages and disadvantages. Then we have LAN for a limited geographical area and wide for several LAN networks connected to a higher and wider geographical area. And two types of LAN, client-server and peer-to-peer network. And other types of networks, MANs, HANs, PANs, and campus. You can use a network for information sharing, hardware sharing, software, and a collaborative environment. And the link through which the data is transmitted is the communication channel. And transmission media can be either physical or wireless, but physical in terms of twisted per cable, coaxial, and fiber optic. Mainly, networks consist of network server and computer clients in which they have the server client set up, and communications devices facilitate the transmitting of data, instruction, and information, including mga example na to na dial-up and cable modems, DCLD, and network interface cards, gateway routers, wireless access points, and the hubs. A network interface card is needed for enabling the sending and receiving of data, and a router directs the internet for network traffic. So for the wireless, we have microwaves, monitor, lights, AirDA, Bluetooth, Wi-Fi. So tandaan nyo itong common typologies ng atong network. We have bus, ring, and star. And agreed upon set of rules and procedures is called the protocol. And the most popular type of the LAN protocol is the Ethernet. And the token ring is the second widely used. And for the internet, LAN and WAN are using TCP/IP or the transmission control protocol or internet protocol, and having to require no system, and networks require network operating system. That's our wrap up for this. Any questions and comments or reactions on the topic on